Buongiorno classe! Come state? Sto molto bene, grazie. Oggi parliamo delle domande. We are talking about questions and specifically question words nella classe di italiano. So, prepariamoci. Let's get started. Our question words in English are who, what, when, where, why, for example. So those are the words that we're talking about oggi nella classe di italiano. You should use your notes that I handed out to you, and you are going to fill in the blanks with anything you see in viola and purple. I encourage you to use una matita o una penna to fill in these notes. That way, voi avete spazio, you have space. So, perché is our first question word. I've used this often nella classe di italiano, or just in generale. Perché means why. Now, the hint as to when we would use a perché question is to look for an explanation. Why is it cold? Because it's winter, right? Anyway, so hint as to why we are looking for an explanation. The example I have for you here is perché la ragazza è pigra? You are also going to write this down. It's a perché type of question. Why is the girl lazy? It could be il ragazzo pigro. And then in inglese, you will also write down the translation. Why is the girl lazy? Ricordate, remember, you can always pause il filmino, the video here, to copy this down. Next domanda, next question word, quando, when. There's actually a very famous song, Dimmi quando, quando, quando. Well, at least I think it's famous. When, we use the when question, even in English, to find out a time. Now, a time can reference to the time on an orologio, on a clock, 9:15 a.m., per esempio. Time could also be a date, right? Day, month, year. When were you born? What's today's date? Or what day, when is the test, right? When is Pasqua, Easter, per esempio? When do we start school? When is vacation? The example I have for you is quando è l'esame? When is the test or exam? Again, take a secondo, put the video on pause, and write down the esempio, example in Italiano, and the translation to English. Che means what. We use what in Inglese and in Italiano to find out something about a nationality or an object. So think about it. What nationality are you? What's in your hair? What's for lunch? Informazione, information. The example I have for you, che colore è il sole? What color is the sun? As always, take a secondo and write this down. Dove, not to be confused with dove, the uccello, the bird. Dove means where. We use dove, even in Inglese, to find out a location. Location could be an indirizzo, an address, una città, a city, or a place, right? Dove la ragazza? This is your example, which means where is the girl? Now here, you'll notice that dove up top looks a little different than dove la ragazza. The reason it looks un po' diverso, a little different, is because we have a couple of different accent marks, an apostrophe and actually an accent mark over la lettera E, the letter E. Now in Italiano, we don't like too many vowels close to each other. So instead of writing dove e, we actually just chop off that e in dove and kind of combine them. In Inglese, we do that with it is, it's, or where is, where's, right? Apostrofo S, apostrophe S. The same thing can happen in Italiano. Again, per favore, put the video on pause and copy down these example frasi. Next one, quanto, in parentheses also quanta. The reason this is in parentheses, and you'll also notice in your notes a couple of stelline, stars underneath, is because this question word actually changes like the aggettivi. So quanto, quanta, quanti, quante means how much or how many. Believe it or not, this word is a cognate. If you've ever heard of the word quantity before, you know it refers to a number. So for example, how much is this? We're looking for some sort of number, right? How many students are in our class? Again, looking for a numero. The example question here in Italiano, quanti studenti ci sono? Which means in inglese, how many students are there? Again, take a secondo, put me on pause, and write this down. Don't forget, it does change, so you treat it like an adjective. So again, if studenti here, quanti studenti. If you were talking about studentesse, female, it might be quante studentesse, female students. It does change depending on the object or noun we're talking about. Next one. Come, not come. Come. Come means how or what. See, yes, it has two meanings in Italiano, and it depends on exactly what you're talking about. So hint, you're looking for an adjective, not nationality. How are you? So for example, come stai, right? Or what is the Italian teacher like? Right? You're looking for an adjectivo. Come stai? How are you? Feeling well, bene, right? Or what's the Italian teacher like? Oh, she is bruna, right? So here we have an adjectivo, some sort of adjective. As always, take a secondo, put it on pause, and write this down. Last question word, chi, means who. Now, chi is pronounced actually like the object that opens una porta, a door. Chi means who. We ask who questions in Inglese and in Italiano to find out informazione specifically about a person or people. So if the question is chi è la ragazza, in Inglese that translates to, if you're thinking, who is the girl? Then C, yes, you are correct. As always, take a secondo, put the video on pause, and make sure you write this down. All right, before we move on to the pratica section, here is a song to help you remember le domande, the question words. Let's see if you can name that tune. Perché, why, quando, when, che, what, dove, where, quanto, how much, come, how, and chi means who is there. See, I'll do it one more time. Let's see if you can name that tune. Perché, why, quando, when, che, what, dove, where, quanto, how much, come, how, and chi means who is there. See! Don't worry, classe, cantiamo. We will be singing nella classe di Italiano. All right, let's move on to the pratica sentence. Tradurre, translate the following. Pratica numero uno. Who, in Italiano, you should of course use your notes, is this word. Think of how it's pronounced in Italiano. It is pronounced as the thing that opens the door. Chi. Numero due, when. Dimmi. The word is quando with a D. Why? We pronounce this perché. And numero quattro, how much or how many. This is a cognate for quantity, which is quanto or quanta, quanti, quante. Again, changes like un adjectivo, an adjective. All right, next part for pratica, you are going to give the word for the helpful hint, okay? So on your notes, next to ogni parola, next to every word, every question word, I gave you a hint. So numero uno, I will do for you. Lunedì is Monday. I'm going to look at my notes. Well, it's not an explanation, so it can't be perché. Lunedì, Monday. Oh my gosh, that is a day, which is some sort of time. So the question word here is quando, when. Next one, dodici, okay? So dodici is the number 12. Again, okay, so it's not an explanation, it's not a time, it's not an object, it's not a nationality, it's not a location, but it is a number. So the correct answer is quanto with a T, quantity, perfecto. All right, numero 3, novembre is a month which represents a time of year. So it is Quando, perfecto, perfect. Alfredo, it's a person's name. I'm going to look at my list. Alfredo is a name, it's a person. So this word is pronounced in Italiano, chi. Last one that I will do for you, and you will do the next cinque on your own. WMS. WMS is a location. So location, hint, not dove, but dove. All right. Numero 6, number 6. Cento is 100. What question word? Che domanda è? It is quanto, quantity. It's a numero. Boston is a location. Che domanda è? What question word is it? It is dove, location. Sara, it's someone's name. That's actually how you spell Sarah in Italiano. Sara, person. Che domanda è? It is chi. Forte. Aggettivo, it's an adjective. Che domanda è? Come, how, aggettivo, not a nationality. But speaking of nationalities, numero 10, number 10 is americano. Nazionalità, look at your list. Che domanda è? It is che. Ottimo lavoro, nice job, and I hope that this was as straightforward as it could possibly be. I hope you fill in your notes, and ci vediamo in classe la prossima volta. We'll see you in class next time.